Hello, good morning. Welcome back to SBK English Net and Set Academy. I am Sanabasapa, making these videos to help the candidates who are preparing for English Net and Set. So already I prepared 4 or 5 videos. I think you watched those videos. If you like those videos are informative and useful for preparing for the Net and Set English literature. So please you have to subscribe to my channel. So every day I am uh, uploading one video on English literature or criticism to YouTube. If you subscribe to my channel, every new video comes to your mobile. In today's class, I want to discuss about the beginning of English language and the beginning of that English literature, that is age of Chaucer. You know, Geoffrey Chaucer is the first major poet of English language. So he's called as the father of English poetry, and as well as also somebody called him as father of English novel on the basis of his great contribution to Canterbury Tales. And somebody also called he was the first person or the poet and author, creator of that characters in English language in his Canterbury Tales. And we discussed what was the background of that age of Chaucer. See, the year 1066, the year 1066 is an important landmark in the history of English literature as well as in the history of England also, because it is the date of the Norman conquest of England in the Battle of Hastings. See, you have to keep that name of Norman conquest. He was important person in the development of English language. And also you have to remember this year 1066 is very important. The Old English period is written in an archaic Germanic language called Anglo-Saxon. See, the Old English period is written in an archaic Germanic language called as the Anglo-Saxon. The Normans were the natives of Normandy, the province of neighboring France. In 1066, William, Duke of Normandy, invaded England and defeated King Harold in the Battle of Hastings. The four chief dialects are the Northern, the East Midland, the West Midland, and the Southern. So these four are the different dialects or different provincial languages which are spoken during that Anglo-Saxon period. Out of these four dialects, that is the East Midland dialect is selected for the development of English language, improvement of that English language. If you compare to that East Midland dialect to the other, like the Norman, the Northern, and the West Midland and the Southern, the East Midland dialect is superior and sophisticated language. Why? The great universities, Cambridge and Oxford, were situated in this area, means where that East Midland dialect is spoken by the people, and also many students came to these universities to study from different nations of Europe continent. So that's why this East Midland language or the East Midland dialect is good. So that's why this is East Midland dialect was to become standard English or the King's English by the time of Chaucer. Now we look at Chaucer. I told you Chaucer was a dominating figure of that English language. He gave his own contribution to the development of English language. He was the first major poet who wrote his works in English. See here, he was an English poet and author. He is widely considered as the greatest poet of Middle Ages. He was the first writer to be buried in what has come to be called Poets Corner in Westminster Abbey. See, you can see this place, Poets Corner in Westminster Abbey. So this is the place where major poets of English language, English literature, and the dramatists and the novelists buried here. So that's why this is called Poets Corner. So this Chaucer, Geoffrey Chaucer, was the first poet buried in this place. He was born in 1343, London, United Kingdom. He was patronized under the rule of John of Gaunt. Works of Chaucer. See, his works can be divided into three main periods. So, Chaucer knew the languages like French, Italian, Latin, and English. You know, Chaucer knew four languages. Once I am repeating: Italian, French, Latin, and also English. He was the master of four languages, four classical languages. So he wrote mainly in three languages: French, Italian, and English. See, the first work, the Roman de la Rose, it was written in French language. He was greatly influenced by French poets De Loris and De Meeting. So these are the poets. Chaucer translated this work into, it is about a long discourse on the drawbacks of marriage and the frailties of women. So this is the work translated from French language to English by Chaucer. So the theme of Roman de la Rose is on the drawbacks of marriage and the frailties of women. So this is the theme of this book. This is French. In the second book, that is the Book of the Duchess. This is very important book for the in the point of view of that set and net. Once this was the question was asked on this book or on this work. So this is an allegory on the death of Blanche, the wife of John Gaunt. It was written in Ottawa Rima, 8 lines stanza. Ottawa Rima means 8 lines stanza. See, next book or the next work, The Complaints in Unto Pity, written in the 7 lined French stanza or rhymed royal. Now we have to see what were the works were written by Chaucer during the Italian period. See the first work, The House of Fame. It resembles to Dante's Divine Comedy. Second work, The Parliament of Fowls. It contains passages and has been directly taken from Dante. Third, The Troilus and Cresside. He borrowed from Boccaccio's Philostrates. See, this is work by Boccaccio. It is written in rhyme royal. Rhyme royal is a 7 lined stanza. Next work, The Legend of Good Woman. It shows Chaucer's mastery over the heroic couplet. The Legend of Good Woman is written in the heroic couplet. Heroic couplet is the 10 lined stanza. So we have learned that here rhyme royal 7 lined, heroic couplet 10 line stanza. See next, English period. This is very important period in the life of Geoffrey Chaucer. So just see, he wrote one great work in English period or in English language. So that is the Canterbury Tales. By writing this, Chaucer became the first person who created the characters. So this work tells about the corruption of the church and the polity of that particular period of England. What was going on in that particular society of England in those days, that was written or created in the form of the characters in this the Canterbury Tales. See, the general plan of the book is taken from Boccaccio's Decameron. It is a collection of 24 stories that run over 17,000 lines. See, this Canterbury Tales has 17,000 lines. How big this work is. See, written in Middle English period. See this. This especially, this work The Canterbury Tales is written in Middle English period. He wrote this between 1387 to 1400. The tales are presented as a part of a storytelling contest by a group of pilgrims. They travel together from London to Canterbury to visit the shrine, the holy place, the sacred place of Saint Thomas Cathedral. The prize for the prize for this contest is a free meal at the Tabard Inn at Southwark on their journey. So this is about the Canterbury Tales. So every year there is a question on Chaucer, particularly on Canterbury Tales and about this its characters, the stories in Nut and Set. Except this Canterbury Tales, no question is set on Chaucer. Only Canterbury Tales of Chaucer. So please read and go through this work of Chaucer in detail. You have to know the knowledge of all the 24 stories and the characters and their speciality. Then only you can answer the question which will set on this. Additional information about Chaucer. Some additional information is here. So Chaucer is rejected the use of alliteration. You know that Anglo-Saxon literature is full of the use of alliteration. Means Anglo-Saxon period literature is repleted with alliteration. You know that alliteration is a figure of speech. In this figure of speech, there is a repetition of the single consonant at the beginning of the letter. So that is alliteration. So this technique or this device, poetic device, is used mainly in Anglo-Saxon period. But this person, Chaucer, he flatly rejected the use of alliteration in his works. So that is the major change uh, in his career. See, he employed 3 meters in his works. What are the three major meters? Three. Autorhyma. This is consisted of 8 lines. This is autorhyma is a 8 lined stanza. And then heroic couplet. See, this is 10 line 10 lines poem, and also that rhyme royal. So that is 7 lined stanza. Once again, I'm repeating that Chaucer used mainly 3 meters in his works. They are Atorama. That Atorama is consisted of 8 lines stanza. Heroic couplet, it is consisted of 10 lines stanza, and rhyme royal 7 line stanza. Be careful about these 3 meters. The question have asked and may be asked in the next coming examination. He wrote Doctor of Physic. This was also another work of Chaucer. See, he liked the parson character from the Canterbury Tales. The period of Middle English is from 1066 to 1350. So this is the period of Middle English period. Here, the question may be asked, what is the period of Middle English? 1066 to 1350. See, Ten Brink, one of the further personality of literature, Ten Brink said about Chaucer, what he said, in poetry as in life, said, he is called as the father of English poetry because of his great contribution to the English literature. Chaucer is called as the father of English poetry. So please remember this point. And also the father of English novel as well. Also he was also suitable to call him as the father of novel because of his great contribution and characters in his great work Canterbury Tales. And also that Chaucer is regarded as he is the maker of English language. English language. Lowes said about Chaucer, what is it? Chaucer found English as a dialect and left it as language. Right? When Chaucer began to write English language, that was only in the form of a dialect. But at the end of his period, that English dialect had become a perfect English language. Lowes said about this. See, the four popular dialects of Chaucer's are the Northern, the Southern, the East Midland, and the South Midland. So, in the previous slide, we discussed about this. I once again remind you the East Midland dialect is very important because now formation of that English or standardization of English language totally depends on the East Midland dialect. Uh, Spencer called Spencer called Chaucer as, see, Edmund Spencer called Chaucer as the well of English undefiled. This is the title given by Edmund Spencer to Chaucer. Be careful about this. And also, this Chaucer introduced the heroic couplet into English language. This was one great contribution to English language by Chaucer. And also, he invented, see, rhyme royal. Rhyme Royal first invented by Chaucer himself only. He was the creator, composer of that Rhyme Royal. So this Rhyme Royal is consisted of 7 line stanza. See, the greatest evil of the Chaucer's age was growing corruption in the church. So this was the greatest evil. This was the worst problem during the days of Chaucer. Albert said that the earliest of the great modern. Albert said about Chaucer was the earliest of the great modern. Chaucer is also regarded as the modern star of Renaissance. Chaucer is regarded as the modern star of Renaissance. Another personality, Ward, called Chaucer as Chaucer is the first great painter of character. He was the first painter. He was the first creator of the characters in English language, English literature. So that is very important. Chaucer's contemporaries. We have to look at two other contemporaries of Chaucer. See, John Gower. So John Gower is the exact uh, contemporary of Chaucer. His writing of three different works in three different languages shows that English was not yet considered a suitable instrument for literature. See, what were the works of this John Gower? Speculum Meditantis. Meditantis. So this is written in the French work. See that long sermon in verse. So Speculum Meditantis is a French work written in long sermon verse. It is an allegory. See, this is an allegory, an exposition of the corruption, vice, and immorality of the age. Chaucer called him, Chaucer called Gower as moral Gower. Remember this, Chaucer called him as moral Gower. See, second work, Vox Clementis. This work is written in Latin couplets. It is inspired by the Peasants' Revolt of 1381. This was the great landmark in the history of English language. It expresses the fear and terror of the rich landed class at the popular uprising. He strikes the note of social democracy. Last work, and also it's very important work of John Gower. In the last net question paper, a question is asked on this: in which form or which technique, which device is used in this confessio mentis? See, confessio mentis was written in 1384. It is written in English, means Middle East Midland dialect, probably under the influence of Chaucer. Kerr said that it is an encyclopedia of, see, Confessio Amentis is an encyclopedia of the art of love. It is a collection of 100 stories and it runs to more than, see, 40,000 lines. It is written in octosyllabic. In the last net question paper set on this point. So the Confessio Amentis of John Gower, written in the form octosyllabic, 8 line stanza, octo 8. Be careful about this. The poem is allegorical. A lover confesses his sins to the priest of Venice. So this was also asked in the last uh, net question paper, and the priest narrates to him a number of love stories to expose the evil consequences of the various faults of characters. So another one, Minor, he is not really considered as the contemporary of Chaucer, but John Gower was the exact contemporary of Geoffrey Chaucer. So William Langland, he was also very important poet in the history of English literature. William Langland is an important poet, and he wrote the William concerning Pierce the plowman. Usually see this work is also called as simply, that is, Pierce the plowman. It gives a remarkable, vivid account of the suffering of the peasants. We just read that the revolt of peasants occurred in 1381. So this poem, the Pierce the Plowman, also deal with the suffering of the peasants. Peasants, nothing but farmers. We get in this poem a denunciation. Denunciation means a public condemnation, the public opposition. What is that? Of the corrupt clergy of the time. An account of the suffering of the common man as a result of corruption prevalent in upper sections. The poem is also a great moral allegory. It is the last considerable work in the alliterative line. It was written in the dead West Midland dialect. So this West Midland dialect is avoided after in the use. So I told you the East Midland dialect is developed and standardized English. So this West Midland dialect is not important here. So friends, I think this information is useful to you, and also please subscribe to my channel for the next interesting videos relating to the preparation of that net and KSET and other state set. Also like this video and also subscribe. Thank you for watching my video. We will come on the next day with another interesting video.